Welcome everyone. I'm so excited to be back again with another video, and this one is special for a couple of reasons. Firstly, this is my first time repainting a doll from the new G3 line of Monster High dolls. I have some mixed opinions on the new dolls, however I am completely in love with the new sculpt on the Draculaura dolls. I love her pointed ears and adorable upturned nose, and this shorter and curvier body type is so beautiful and brings some much needed diversity to the Monster High canon. The other exciting thing about this project is that it's a collab with my amazing friend from Kyro's workshop. We've teamed up to each bring you a new repaint with a G3 doll base, and we've decided to do so with a witchy theme. Kyro's workshop made a sleek and elegant doll, and I've gone in quite the opposite direction, bringing a cottage-core style with inspirations from Baltic and Slavic folklore. Make sure you head over to their channel and watch the witchy video from Kyro's workshop. I'll leave a link to them in the info below. I start the repaint process as usual, stripping away her factory makeup and hair, and I prep her skin with 3 coats of Mr. Super Clear UV cut matte varnish, waiting 30 minutes in between sprays. This doll was definitely one of those creative processes that had a mind of its own, and I leaned into the flow and kind of let her tell me what she wanted to be. I originally imagined this character as a young girl with a much darker, spookier feel, but I think she ended up looking older, maybe a teenager or young adult, with a cuter and more sweet appearance. I definitely love the way she turned out, and I really enjoy letting the process guide me and take me to unexpected places. I often plan out every single detail of my creations, but at the same time I think it's important to be flexible and go with the flow, even though sometimes it's hard for me to remember that. Does anyone else struggle with balancing those things? To bring out the warmth in her pink skin, I wanted to give her dark, warm brown eyes. I also give her a lovely peachy blush, and can't forget to balance all that warmth out with some light blue pastel powder on her temples and in the inner corner of her eyes. On a new layer of Mr. Super Clear, I can start building up the contrast around her eyes, carving out her eyelid and giving them a few wrinkly details as well. To start building up her eyebrows, I take a deep, dusty brown chalk pastel on a tiny applicator. I will give her black hair and black eyebrows, but I don't immediately go in with black chalk pastel. This way, when I add in the individual hair strokes later on, they can stand out on their own, without blending in too much with the pastel work. my favourite part. I love this step of adding the black pastel in the top half of her eyes. This is where I really see the face come to life with so much dimension. For her freckles, I scribble out some watercolour pencils and then activate them with a damp brush. After dotting freckles onto her face, I wait for them to dry completely and then dull them down with my eraser. I love this technique. For me, it has the balance of natural organic creation with the flow of the watercolour paint, but then I have the control to clean up and change the intensity afterwards. Eyelashes are definitely the most nerve-wracking part for me. I actually got up to this step and then stopped the face up completely for a couple of days to procrastinate. I don't really have a technique, I just sharpen my pencils as much as possible and hope for the best. If anyone has any pointers, please leave them below in the comments. My normal final step for the face, white acrylic paint, just to ensure that all of the brightest highlights really pop. The catchlight in the eyes, as well as adding some sparkles to her waterline and inner corner. Then the tip of the nose, center of the lips, and also adding some white lashes for contrast. I add detail to her hands, blushing the joints as well as adding fingernails, cuticle beds, and wrinkles on the knuckles. So for years, we've all been seeing on social media those adorable mushroom hats. They've been so trendy and I've seen so many versions and different iterations, with so much creativity and craftsmanship. I've wanted to make one for a doll for a really long time, but I didn't have a great concept for one or a good opportunity to create one. But now with this cottage-core witch, I can finally make this dream come true. To get started, I begin embroidering the white dots of the toadstool onto the red fabric. I wanted to keep the feel of the hat quite organic, so I thought the texture of the embroidery thread brought a lovely quality. For the structural base of the hat, I use Warbler thermoplastic, and with the help of my heat gun, I can mold it into the perfect shape. I pull the fabric taut over the Warbler base and hold it in place with pegs. Then, one at a time, I remove a peg and apply fabric glue between the warbler and the cloth. Then I put the peg back on to let the glue dry. I also add in some pleated white fabric to represent the gills of the mushroom and to finish up the underside of the hat. I wanted to include red in the rest of her outfit to create a cohesive look, and I was really inspired by the folk dress of Baltic and Slavic countries. This outfit is mostly inspired by Polish traditional clothes, but I've also pulled from other cultures to try and create a unique fantasy aesthetic. I decided to create a simple white blouse with red embroidery along the sleeves. I traced the sleeve pattern pieces onto the fabric and add it to the embroidery hoop. To begin this embroidery design, I create 2 backstitch lines running parallel. Then, with a different colour thread on a blunt needle, I weave the thread in and out. With the pieces cut, I can now sew them all together, adding a blanket stitch to the neck to add more colour. Off screen, I also make this cute little vest. I decide to give her a patchwork style skirt with these vertical panels. This allows me to keep the red present in the lower half of the design, but also introduce greens and browns so that the overall look isn't too monochromatic or too repetitive. Even though each of these fabrics are cotton, they have a slightly different weave quality, and I love the subtle texture that brings. To finish the outfit, I also sew up a pair of bloomers off camera. To bring a touch of magic, I wanted to create a sort of magic charm belt. This design will bring a lot of sparkle, texture, and colour, which I love, but I also hope it adds to her story as well. I like to imagine that this character has collected these trinkets over many years and draw special magic charms from them. With jump rings and dark pink tassels, I also make her a pair of cute earrings. These are the shoes that my Generation 3 Draculaura came with, and I love the shape of this chunky heel, but unfortunately the heart and bat wings have to go. I cut them off with scissors and then use an X-Acto knife to remove as much as possible. I also use some sandpaper to make them nice and smooth. I paint them black off camera and then begin to replace the strap. I cut 2 strips of black faux leather and bring out some gold decorations. I add a gold stud to one end and then slip on a D-ring to the other end. The end with the stud gets glued to the shoe now, and I will glue down the free end when I dress the doll. To finish the look, I take these white stockings I had in my stock box. These of course need some trinkets as well, so I create a little cluster with a coin, a tassel, and a bell on the end of a chain. This cluster gets sewn to the top of the stocking. During my time away from this channel, I moved apartments, and I haven't yet figured out the best way to film wig making in this new setup. So for today, I took my black fibers brushed from acrylic yarn and created her hair off camera. The very last step of this project was to tie her hair back into 2 cute plaited pigtails. So without further ado, I present my mushroom witch. I hope you love her. Thank you so much for watching. Your support means so much to me. Make sure you like the video if you like it and leave a comment below. I read every single comment. Let me know what you think of this doll and what you'd like to see from this channel in the future. Subscribe if you want to see more of my content, and I'll see you next time. Have an awesome day.